Welcome, guys. Let's talk about different types of SIC codes that will lead you to be denied a business credit. Before I go to the full details, what are SIC codes, and which will result in a denial of business funding? Ever wonder which SIC codes prevent you from getting approved for business credit? We have the answers you're looking for, so stop wondering. But before we continue, what exactly is a SIC code? SIC, also known as Standard Industrial Classification, is part of a system for classifying businesses. The U.S. government assigns businesses a 4-digit numerical code called a Standard Industry Classification Code, SIC, to help identify their main line of business. It reveals the type of industry a business is in. This system was created by the Securities and Exchange Commission. For instance, your company's SIC code would be 3011 if it manufactures tires and/or inner tubes. The numbers are somewhat smart in that some industry groupings correspond to certain ranges of the first 4 digits. For example, manufacturing relates to 4-digit SIC codes that either start with a 2 or a 3. The primary industry group is then determined by the first and second digits together. 30 will be used in our case to denote rubber and miscellaneous plastic products. Consequently, this raises the following query. How many SIC codes are there? As of date, it is 1,514. Industry codes with lower risk include 5399 miscellaneous general merchandise stores, 5699 miscellaneous apparel and accessory stores, 3089 plastic products, not elsewhere classified, 4813 telephone communications, except radio telephone, 6411 insurance agents, brokers, and service, 7213 linen supply. Here's how to find SIC codes. You could be wondering where you would find the SIC codes? There is a list of SIC codes, but you need to specify the industry and industrial group. The digits of the SIC codes are grouped. The major industry group is identified by the first 2 digits of the SIC code, the industry group is identified by the 3rd digit, and the industry is identified by the 4th digit. In actuality, the SIC code you choose will be used by the Internal Revenue Service. This will help you decide whether your company's tax returns are comparable to those of other companies in your sector. Therefore, your company can be audited if your tax deductions do not properly mirror those of comparable companies in your field. In addition, certain businesses could be classified as high risk if they choose the incorrect SIC code for their industry. However, you can select the right code on your first try if you comprehend how the business classification system operates. Let's talk about which SIC codes disqualify you. We'll go over codes for the North American Industrial Classification System, NAICS. Another company categorization code is the North American Industry Classification System, NAICS. For gathering, analyzing, and publishing statistical data about the American economy, this code categorizes commercial establishments. Based on the primary activities that an organization engages in, NAICS industry codes characterize it. The NAICS publishes a list of high-risk and high-profit industries on its own. Casinos, pawn shops, liquor stores, as well as car dealerships and restaurants are on the list of higher-risk businesses. The NAICS does not differentiate between online and offline or hybrid enterprises in an industry, which is one of the biggest disparities between the two systems. Certain high-risk businesses are required by OSHA to record injuries and illnesses. Industries with restrictions, automatic rejection, include loan brokers, ammunition or weapons manufacturing, wholesale and retail, bail bonds, check cashing agencies, gaming or gambling activities, energy, oil trading, petroleum extraction or production, finance, industries at high risk, subject to tighter underwriting standards, entertainment, general contractors, hotels or motels, agriculture or forest products, auto, recreational vehicle, or boat sales, gasoline stations also known as convenience stores, healthcare, special trade contractors, courier services, computer and software-related services, dry cleaners. You might want to know which of the NAICS and SIC business codes is in use. Both of them are. However, NAICS will gradually replace the SIC code system as it is being phased out. But for the time being, presume they are both active while the changeover is still ongoing. These coding schemes resemble one another but are not the same. But which SIC codes exclude you? The two business classification systems are used by lenders, banks, insurance providers, and business credit reporting agencies to evaluate whether your company falls under a high-risk industry categorization. This implies that depending on your business categorization, you can be denied a loan for a business or a business credit card. Some SIC codes may result in your company receiving automatic rejections, paying higher premiums, and having its credit limits reduced. This makes obtaining business financing more difficult. Industry risks and SIC codes. Risk has to be a significant concern when evaluating any part of a firm. Every industry has inherent problems. Crops fail or lease conditions increase too much, forcing an enterprise to relocate. Or imports become less dependable due to tariffs or even a conflict. Don't overlook pandemics either. The importance of risk. Risk is important for a variety of reasons, but funding is the main one. Lending banks are reluctant to do business in several sectors. There are tighter underwriting requirements in such specific situations. But a business can at least receive some sort of financing. Unlike other industries, though, there may be no funding at all for certain industries. These companies will consequently need to find alternative sources of funding or a personal funding program. Potentially among these options include crowdsourcing, angel investors, venture capital, business credit development, and others. Many companies would still prefer to engage with lenders. But where do lenders get their estimates of how much danger there is? You should know which SIC codes will disqualify you. The actual injury risks are in line with the CDC. A report on dangers in small enterprises was produced by the Centers for Disease Control in 1999. The SIC codes are discussed in this article. Additionally, it provides details on injuries linked to the codes. Even though this is not the actual method that lending institutions use to assess risk, it is nonetheless interesting. Additionally, it helps show what might be motivating some of the arguments. Workplace injuries factor into the risk calculation in part. These are the kinds of things the CDC report mentioned. However, industries that involve a lot of monetary transactions are the other side of the risk coin. After all, there may not be much of a risk of injury in a pawn store. But because they are typically connected with big sums of money, they might be an enticing target for criminals. Thus, just like U.S. SIC codes for other industries, the retail SIC codes can carry a high level of risk. Here's how to avoid being rejected for using bad SIC codes by using better SIC industry codes. Look at this if you're still wondering what SIC code should you choose for your business. You are free to select any SIC code. For instance, you would typically choose 5511 motor vehicle dealers, new and used, while searching for automotive sales. However, because of the high-risk aspect in the name of the business categorization, the majority of lenders would automatically reject your company. Naturally, you want to be truthful when SIC is coding your business. However, it's a good thing if more than one SIC code might be used. Because there is nothing wrong with selecting the SIC code that won't cause lenders to reject you. As a result, you must choose a unique code if you wish to start a car sales company. It shouldn't be one where the real code of the business specifically is linked to car washes, auto and home supply stores, and motor vehicle parts and accessories. In this way, you can continue to run your true automotive sales firm without actually being viewed as a risk concern. Nothing about doing this is dishonest. If the code applies, switching high-risk SIC codes for lower-risk codes is acceptable. And it might increase the chances of funding for your company. For more details about these codes, search the database of SIC codes. Selecting lower risk name for your business. It goes beyond coming up with the ideal memorable name that is simple to speak and spell and invokes the goal statement of your organization. Because the danger is a factor as well. Financing denials will result from including a risky business type in your company name. Here, it helps to know which SIC codes will get you turned down. For instance, the business of bail bonds is regulated. Check cashing services and various financing company models are also. Hence, you named your business Chico's bail bonds will almost certainly cause a delay, if not a flat-out denial. But when to apply, it works the same way as picking a lower-risk SIC code. The use of the name Chico's for your business is not misleading, prohibited, or immoral. Now, if you're wondering if your company will receive financing under this more inclusive name, it won't, of course. However, at least your company won't be immediately rejected before you can provide a case on why you should be approved. Of course, having stronger business credit will help you pitch for funding even more aggressively. Here are some takeaways to remember from standard industrial classification. By selecting the improper SIC codes, you run the danger of hurting your company's reputation and being classified as high risk. And this may have a direct effect on your insurance costs, your capacity to finance, and even the recommendations made for the credit limit. By selecting the incorrect SIC codes, you made a modest but potentially costly mistake for your company. Therefore, do your homework before choosing any SIC codes for your company. Because you might just choose a SIC code that causes you to be rejected. So, to wrap things up, I am sure you have learned one or two things about SIC codes. Let us know if you have any questions or clarification in the comment section below or visit www.wealthbuilders365.com.